Yo, back again. What's going on again? Late night open discussion kind of jamboree over here. Figured I would just come on and chat again for a little bit. What's going on again, people? How we doing? How we doing? Yeah, we are getting goosed. What's up from Montana? How's it going? What's up, Lori? How are you? What is it now? What now? Pardon me now? What is it now? Somebody said I'm on mute. Am I on mute? I don't think I'm on mute. I don't even know how that would even work. All right, if you can hear me, tell me that you can hear me in the comments. I don't know how I could be on mute. I can't imagine that that's possible, but maybe they're just trolling me. That was early. That was early for a troll. You bag of rice. I already realized. What is it now? I already realized that I didn't get enough water. Hold up. All right, word. I am heard. Cool. Can you hear me in Australia? That's what's up. Awesome. So I pulled out a couple of topics again because Pompeo. I pulled out a couple of topics again, but I just figured I would kind of open the conversation to just discussion a little bit. See what you guys kind of wanted to talk about. What was on your mind? Generally, I feel like the people in the chat are pretty woke and typically have some pretty good commentary. So I figured I'd open the floor to questions if anybody has any questions. I have a couple things. I pulled up a couple articles and whatnot over here that I could chat about. Should anybody not have questions, but I figured I would just open up for questions in case anybody has some. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're watching on the Gram, ask me some questions and I will answer them. Somebody says, am I doing 75 hard? No, I'm not doing that right now, but I think it's awesome. I think it does a lot of great things for a lot of people. I have been trying to do 2-a-days at the gym. I try to lift on one of them and then do cardio on the other. Generally, I feel like I work harder when I know that I have a second one coming. So it's causes me to not press both of them. Kitty Butterball says, "What did I do today?" I started getting my affairs in order because I'm traveling this week. So I've just been jumping on. I've just been trying to knock through all of the different things that I have to get done, and obviously close up all the loose ends, laundry, and stupid things before I travel. I tried to book a rental car for the trip that I'm taking to Tennessee later this month. Sparky Dude says, "What was it like hanging out with Andy Frisella?" It was really awesome. The First Form headquarters was one of the most impressive buildings I've ever seen in my entire life. I was extremely impressed by it. But if you've listened to Andy's content, it was kind of like living inside his mind, how sharp everything was put together. And it was one of the coolest things. It was one of the coolest experiences I think I've ever had. Just meeting all the people and everybody in the First Form team has just been really cool. And I really enjoyed it thoroughly. It was an experience I'll never forget. And every single person that I've met that's been affiliated with First Form has just been really awesome. I mean, it's even and not to downplay them, obviously, but pretty much almost every single person that I've met as a result of this channel has been amazing. So it's been a really fun experience having this account reach new heights and having new people follow me and whatnot. And it's just been really fun. I've been having a real lot of fun with it. A lot of people, I find that the more people the more things that you do to continue keeping the account going, the more people troll, which I find interesting. But generally, I've kind of like, it's almost like you can measure the success in the haters. It's like the more people that dog you, the more you realize that you're reaching new people. M. Spinos says, can you do a live stream on investments in your opinion to counter the crypto craze with stocks? I have done a couple different live streams about stocks. If you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bobby Sausalito, you can see some of them. You can see some of the videos that I've done about investments. Generally, this is my general feeling about investments. The best investment that you can make is in yourself. The best investment that you can make is in education and figuring out how to earn more money. Earn more money at what you're already doing, or earn who makes the most money in the place that you have the most skill. I generally feel like you have a natural advantage in life, and if you can lean towards that advantage and really harness that advantage and understand how it gives you a leg up against your competition, that's a place that you can really succeed. So of course, you want to do what you love and what you're going to feel passionately about, because that's what's going to keep you going when you have limited resources and your back's up against the wall. But I do feel like you have to try to figure out where you have an advantage and really lean into that advantage. So when it comes to investing, your first investment is in yourself. Invest in education, invest in the ability to get better at whatever it is that you're doing and how to make more money. The second investment would be into tools and instruments that can expedite the process of how quickly you can produce a product or service. So, for example, if you ride a bike to work, you buy a car. If you use a drill, buy a better drill. If you use a saw, buy a saw that can cut faster or sharper or further. If you have a computer, buy a better computer, buy a faster computer, buy faster internet. Things like that. Investing in tools and investing in processes that allow you to make money faster and more efficiently, I feel like is the best second investment. The third investment, which I feel like is primarily a long hold investment and kind of like a holding position, is to buy and invest in stocks. I would suggest that you buy stocks in companies that you know, like, and trust. I would suggest that you buy primarily, I would primarily say if you live in the United States, you would invest in U.S.-based stocks. If you live in another country, invest in stocks in your local country, in companies that you know, like, and trust, and that you feel you have a very deep understanding of. So you'll be able to identify when they might be slacking and when they're doing great. I like to invest in companies that have a kind of like a monopoly type of stranglehold on their particular business sector. So I like it when there's a very limited amount of competition and there's kind of like only a few games in town. That's why I like stock in Verizon. That's why I like stock in Facebook. That's why I like stock in Shopify. That's why I like stock in companies like Google, Uber, and Lyft. Because I feel like they're kind of like the only game in town. And I like those kind of monopolistic style companies that have like a stranglehold over a variety of the different businesses that compete with them. The third investment, which I think is probably the best one of all, is investing into a cash flowing property of some sort, or a cash flowing asset that will in theory appreciate, but will most importantly provide you with continuous monthly cash flow. I would say that is probably the best investment of all, especially one that you can improve or increase the cash flow based on your skills or your advantages. So for me, the thing that's made the biggest difference in my life has been investing in cash flowing websites. I'm a web developer. I know how to build websites. I know how to market them, grow them, whatever. So I would invest more money, and I have been investing a lot of money into cash flowing websites because I understand cash flowing websites. I understand websites. I understand how to build them, grow them, etc. If you understand how to work on a house, you might want to invest in a rental property. If you really like hospitality and touring people around your city, and you understand real estate and you understand whatever, maybe invest in an Airbnb. If you like fixing up old cars, maybe you own an auto body shop, I would consider buying used cars on the cheap that are messed up, that are broken down or whatever, fixing them up and reselling them. Something like that. Something where you can invest into a cash flowing asset. something that you have an advantage over. So for example, if two guys are going to buy a used car and they're going to go and resell them, they're going to flip used cars. If you own an auto body shop and the next guy's working out of his garage, you have an advantage. You have a lift, you have employees, you have the cash that you can put into it. You can buy multiple cars at the same time. It's your everyday business. Those are different ways that I would look to expand what I'm already doing so that I can make more money in less amount of time. Yeah, rent your car out, sure. But I really think what's important is investing in cash flowing assets. Cash flow is the game. Cash flow is the thing that makes the biggest difference in life. If you were to win the lottery, for example, let's say that you won $5 million. You're going to lose at least half of that approximately to taxes, right? So your $5 million winning is now $2.5 million. If you win $2.5 million, what most people are naturally going to do is buy a house. So let's say you buy a house, $2.5 million. Let's say you buy a house. You're going to buy a house that's, let's say, $1 million. There's going to be a lot of taxes on that house. You're going to need that cash. So that's an asset, but it's not going to be cash flowing because you're probably going to go live in it. So now you're down to your 2.5 is down to 1.5, and you got to pay taxes and all the management of all that property. You're going to be out of that 5 million real quick. So you got to figure out a way to invest into a cash flowing asset that's going to spit you out enough money every month to satisfy your expenses. But I do think cash flow is the game. If I could leave you with any piece of advice, it would be invest in cash flow, buy cash flow. Figure out a way to purchase cash flow, especially if that cash flow doesn't rely on you going somewhere or doing something, or at the very least doing a lot of something. Now, there's not many things that do that, but there certainly are things that do that. So here's another example. If you have, let's say that you own a t-shirt printing business, okay? Your business is printing t-shirts for other companies. You may want to buy an existing t-shirt printing brand and then print all the shirts. Reduce the cost of that brand by printing all the shirts, buy that cash flowing asset, use the existing resources that you have. Now you own a t-shirt printing brand. One of the greatest things that I ever did was I own a series of websites in a specific category. And one of the best things that I did was I bought other websites that compete with it so that I own 5 or 6 websites that all compete in the same category. So if I get an advertiser for property number 1, I can upsell that person on property 2, 3, 4, and 5 and sell the exact same advertiser 3, 4 times the same thing. It provides more value to the advertiser and it provides more value to me because I only had one buyer that just bought 5 times. So by me investing in that asset, I can expand the amount of money that I can make in a very short and with only one touch point. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to buy as many assets that all relate and have an appeal to the same advertiser. Companies like Complex Media, which I had one of my websites with for a number of years. Complex Media is a collection of like 200 cash flowing websites. So they have websites in sneakers, style, fashion, and all these different things. So they basically would acquire websites that reach a millennial targeted audience, and then they would sell advertisement to Coca-Cola, for example, or Dr. Pepper, and they would say, hey, Dr. Pepper, instead of us having 10 websites, we have 100 websites that fit the same audience that you're trying to target. It'll be cheaper for you to advertise on all 50 of them or all 100 of them or whatever. Dr. Pepper gets a better deal. You sell more advertisement. Everybody in the network wins. You win multiple times over because you're being smart. You're being tactical. You're making more money with the same amount of effort. And you're also providing an additional value to the person that buys the advertisement. That's what it's all about. It's about thinking smarter, not harder. I used to work really, really hard and really, really long. And although that is objectively a way to make more money, it is not necessarily the best way to make more money. I remember one month I was like, I'm just going to work 7 days a week, 10, 15 hours a day, and I'm going to see how much money that I made. And to this day, that was one of the highest earning months that I've ever had in my entire life, but it toasted me out. And by the time I got to month 2, I think towards the second half of month 2, I was burnt. So I ended up going slow the third month. And at the end, when you average it all out, it ended up being about the same as I would have made just going consistently at the same clip as I normally did. Now, by working smarter and not harder, I could probably generate a similar amount of money in much less time and with much less stress, by simply being tactical and buying the right assets so that I can make that money on with methods that are not me hand-to-hand combat doing something. Like I got to go and build a website or do this task or whatever. Or at the very least, if I'm doing something, it's far less impact of my time. So I know that I missed a bunch of questions. Just out here trying to give value. So YM Freds asked a really good question. He or she, I can't see. Tips for finding out what your purpose is. Also, did you find your purpose? I think that finding your purpose is an ongoing battle. I think that it's something that we're always kind of looking for. I do feel like this particular project, reaching out to you guys, communicating with you, I do think that this is the closest and most obviously the greatest thing of purpose that I think that I've ever done. So I would say yes, in a lot of ways I found my purpose. At the very least, I found what I believe has the greatest amount of purpose in my life right now. And I believe that it will carry that along. Along through the majority of my life. So I do think that this has been the thing of the greatest purpose that I found so far. Perhaps I'll find something that is of a greater purpose. I don't know, but this is certainly the best one that I've ever found, and it's something that I really enjoy quite a bit. I mean, again, it's like to think that at this time of night that I can go on here and 100 people or whatever will watch it, and thousands of people will watch it the next day, and I'm just talking about the things that I would want to talk about anyways. I think it's just really awesome. So. I certainly feel like this is certainly a purpose that I'm really proud of. So tips for finding out what your purpose is. Okay, so this is probably the best advice that I can give about finding purpose. Now, I actually made a video that's on my YouTube about finding your purpose, so check it out. I think it's called Finding Your Passion. Okay, this is basically what I feel about it. Finding your purpose consists of identifying a variety of different things that you're passionate about, that you really love to do, and looking at all of these things and contrasting them with all of the things that you don't want to do. So you take all the things that you don't want to do, the lifestyle that you don't want to live, and you eliminate anything that doesn't fit the lifestyle that you want. So, for example, one of the things that I never wanted to do is I was like, I don't want to work on the weekend. I don't want to have to work outside. If it's raining, I don't want to have to go outside. If it's lightning, if it's cold, I don't want to go outside. So I was like, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to work when I don't want to work when I don't want to work. I don't want to use my body to make money because your body can get old and then you lose your income stream. I don't want to do anything that's in an industry that I don't think is going to grow over the course of my lifetime. And I don't want to do something that requires me to work at a place that I want to have fun. I don't want to work nights. I don't want to work weekends. I don't want to work holidays. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So anything that doesn't fit that lifestyle, I don't want to do. Then it's like, where are my advantages? My advantages are the internet, communication, speaking, public speaking, and technology. So it's like technology, computers, internet, work from home, use my mind to make money. And I started honing in on what the purpose was. Did I know exactly what it would be? No, but I worked on focusing on building up a variety of different skills that I knew would be valuable when and however that purpose decided to surface itself. I knew that I would be ready to seize that opportunity when it came, and that's exactly what happened. Chuk says, I need to have a private conversation with you regarding this topic. Sure, no problem. Let's do it. Jen says, I think one of your purposes in OnlyFans with your beanbag. Agreed. Dope Gravity says, would you recommend learning how to code? If so, which program do you recommend? I would suggest learning how to code. I would highly suggest that you learn how to code in PHP. If it was me and I had to rebuild my operation, I would learn how to code in either JavaScript, PHP, or if you want, it depends on what kind of mentality that you have and what you want to build. If you want to build websites, PHP. If you want to build applications or processes like apps, things like that, you may want to learn something like Python. Logic 5211512 says, so I'm having surgery next month. They can't force me to get the juice in order to get the surgery. I can't see the full question because it doesn't allow me to. But yeah, I don't think anybody can force you to it in order to get a surgery. I have gotten a surgery in the age of Corona Clap, and I didn't have to get any juice. I did have to take a Corona Clap test, but I took it like 10 minutes before they put me out. A couple people said they're learning Java right now. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the things that you want to create. I'm a website builder. I like building websites. I love building websites, in fact. And so I would say if you're going to learn how to build websites, I would learn PHP. But the goalpost is always moving. So it always depends. Ian wants to jam. Give me a few more minutes. The thing that sucks about the gram is that it cancels out. It basically cancels out all the people that are on YouTube and Facebook because they can't see the person. Why am I blurry? There we go. YM Fred says I'm taking online classes for Google Analytics. That's wise. Definitely very needed. Search engine optimization. It just depends on how your brain is wired. I think that's something that's really important, is understanding how your brain is wired. And for me, search engine optimization is really, really valuable, obviously. And a lot of people have suggested to me that would be, they're like, hey, that would be so valuable. And it's like, yeah, but you're looking at black and white. You're looking at numbers all day and statistics. And I'm not much of a numbers and statistics person. I'm much more of a creative type. I really liked project development, bringing things from idea to full project.
What's good, Fan Bam?
Yo, what's good?
Not much, man. Just in old Utah, hanging out in the hotel room. I figured I'd pull a Bobby. Should I get shirtless and hang out on my pillows? Hanging out of Bobby and Tommy.
Hey, whatever tickles your bag, guy.
Literally every time I see that guy on the live, he's shirtless on pillows.
Whatever. Hey, sometimes it's what the people want.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. No, dude, I liked the conversation. I had something to add to it. I thought when you were talking about purpose, I think a lot of people forget that purpose can come in a lot of different forms. I actually believe. And I was having this thought the other day, actually. And it dawned on me, people are constantly talking about, how many times have you heard somebody say, if you would have told me this, I would have told you were crazy. Like, how many times have you heard that, right? If you would have told me I would have been doing this, or I would have been this person, or I would have been able to do this, or whatever, however long ago, I would have told you were crazy.
I've said that, yeah.
I even caught myself saying that, right? So the other day I was thinking about it, and I was like, I think people say that for two different reasons. I think the first reason is they just straight up doubt that they're capable of doing whatever those things are. Like they straight up have those experiences. And then I think the second one is just that some people legitimately just don't anticipate those things coming in that form, if that makes sense. Like like even with like the clothing brand with us, like we never planned on that, but it's not that I wouldn't have believed it could happen. Just like I'm sure you never planned on being, an internet personality and being able to do what you do right now. But it's not that if somebody would have told you that you'd be doing that, you wouldn't have not believed them because you had doubt in yourself. It's more just like it's totally an anticipated path. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the fact is that people who are successful, they know they're going to be great and they know they're going to experience greatness and great things. It's just not always in the form or like it doesn't manifest itself in the way that they think or that they anticipate. And I think that's a huge thing. I think purpose can be related to that too. I think everybody has different purposes in life. And the fact is you just kind of have to be ready for however that manifests itself. However that purpose comes about is how you have to be, you just kind of have to be ready for it. And I think that comes down to fulfillment. Earlier, as I said, like true purpose, in my opinion, or true fulfillment.
You're getting clapped by that hotel. That hotel Wi-Fi is clapping our cheeks.
Still clap?
It's like I don't know if anybody else is seeing that, but it's clapping you. I feel like.
Oh, I'm sure. Everything's clear on me.
Yeah, I don't think it shows you. Oh, whatever. It's good. It's all right now.
Anyway, I was just saying. I think that true fulfillment is what leads to true purpose. Like when somebody feels like they're actually fulfilled in life, I think that's a good indicator that they've found a purpose for themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that the thing is that like I think that it's hard to find. I think that it's kind of like most good things where they come while you're busy doing other things that make you better overall, that make you better in general. And I think that purpose, much like your passion, much like the great people that come into your life, oftentimes happen while you're busy being great at all the other things that you could be great at. And I've talked about it a number of times on live streams and videos and whatnot, that like the greatest thing that we can do is focus on filling our cup in as many different areas at the exact same time. Like, for example, making sure that your house is clean, making sure that the relationships with the people that you love are strong, making sure that your health is in order, making sure that you have all the things around you lined up so that whenever an opportunity presents itself, you're ready to seize it. So you have cash in the bank, you have investments that are generating money, you have a nest egg that protects you when an opportunity comes. You're not like, if you see something that you can seize, you're not scrambling to put all the pieces together so that you can get it. You've already built the relationships, you've already built the financial backing, you've already built the social circles that will support you when those things come, and then those opportunities present themselves and you can jump on them. And I think that that's really what has been the most important thing for me, is making sure that all of these things are together, not necessarily knowing when the opportunity is going to present itself, but just being ready to seize it when it comes, and knowing that you're going to be sharper and more adept to identifying an opportunity when it comes, should all those other things be in line. Because if you're stressing out about whatever it is, like one of the things that made a big difference for me, and even though it seems inconsequential, was making sure that I had a reliable vehicle. So being like, I got to make sure that my car is not going to break down. So I have to take the cash and invest it into a car that's not going to break down. And now that thought is out of my head. And even though it seems inconsequential generally in life, little things like that clear spaces in your mind for other things to be tackled and other problems to be handled. So for example, if you're like, all right, I know that I went to the gym 7 times this week, at least I know that I'm making progress towards that goal. Now I can focus on other things because I know that I'm knocking that piece out. So whenever the opportunity comes to maybe meet the girl that you want to date, or maybe meet the people that you want to date, you know that you appear like you're focused and you have the ability to commit to something, and it shows strength in your personality, not only to a potential person that you're going to date, but a person that maybe will hire you in a job interview, in a new social situation. People like being with other people that are sharp. And I think that those things all add up from preparing when you don't necessarily know why or when the opportunity will come.
Definitely. It's kind of the idea of, have your house in order. Everybody says that.
Yeah.
But like, what does that actually mean? I think it has a lot to do with being prepared for anything, but I think it also has to do with just being prepared for opportunity in general. Because you're right. When those things come about, if you don't have everything in order and you're not in a place where you can accept you can accept that opportunity and run with it, then nothing matters. But I think a lot of people actually miss out on those opportunities because of what you're talking about. Because they're not ready to accept it, right? They're not in a place where they can actually take advantage of those things. Sorry, I'm just trying to put my computer in here. But I think a lot of people miss out on those opportunities for that same reason. And thereby possibly missing out on, what would be considered their purpose. And I think it's more common than we think it is. A lot of people walking around feeling like they don't have purpose, when in reality, it could just be because they weren't prepared for the opportunities that came to them, which would actually show them what their purpose is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like you have to be prepared before you know what you're prepared for. And if you're not actively improving and filling up as many of your buckets of quality attributes, then you'll miss it whenever it comes. You'll miss it in the form of a person. You'll miss it in the form of a job. You'll miss it in the form of an income stream. You'll miss it in the form of everything because you haven't been already preparing for greatness to come across you. It's almost like, and just like you said, it's almost like you draw the greatness to you while you're busy making all those things sharp.
Exactly. And again, I think when you draw that greatness to you, sometimes it comes in forms and it manifests itself in ways that you may not have anticipated, but that if you've done everything to keep yourself mentally, physically, emotionally set, like you're ready for it, right? And so again, I think that's kind of what I was trying to get at when I was thinking about that whole idea of people who doubt versus people who just don't anticipate it coming that way. They're always ready to accept it, whereas the people who just straight up doubt themselves, because they doubt themselves, they never make the moves in life to make themselves prepared for greatness, and that's why they never experience it. It's not so much like so many people want to blame it on luck, or so many people want to say, I've been dealt a bad hand and blah blah blah, right? It's like, yeah, but how many? We're all dealt bad hands per se in life, but how many of us just freaking throw those cards back in the deck, reshuffle it up, and get a new hand? It's like, you have the ability to do that if you want to. And I think a lot of the people that continue to say, I don't have that good of luck, or I'm, those kind of opportunities don't come to me or whatever, it's their own fault. They're the ones that are making it so that those things don't manifest themselves because they're simply just not ready and open to receive it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if I had to narrow down what I think is probably the most significant thing that I've learned in the last 18 months, and I think maybe in a lifetime, is that mindset is everything, and that's it.
Yep.
It is the entire game. You can summarize, I would almost say, every single aspect of your life with just simply that sentence. Mindset is everything. The war is lost and won in your mind first. You figuring out how to master what goes on in your mind is the key to all aspects of life and every single thing getting better. It's like you choose the attitude that you have towards the things that happen in life day to day, what you're going to do with your time. It's like even just before, it's like I'm on the live stream and I'm like, well, it's getting close to 10. What do? Do I stay on the stream or do I go to the gym and bomb out 45 minutes on the elliptical and get another sweat in for the day? And it's like that type of decision is almost second nature to me, where I typically would have been like, well, you got to work harder. You got to stay on the stream. You got to do more of whatever. And it's like, here we are again. The same amount of people that were on the stream earlier are here now. My mind is cleared out. I moved right through that thing. I ended up 600 calories more spent for the day. I feel better about it. I'll feel better about it tomorrow. Like that's a win. And it's those internal battles and those decisions that happen minute to minute throughout the day that make all the difference. And all of the greatest things that have happened to me in life have come when I was more in control of my mindset. Not that I'm in control of every single aspect of it. It's a continuous battle, but that has been the most significant thing that I've really learned to master in the last 12 months. And I think that if I had any message at all, that would be it. It's like, it all happens here. It's literally every single thing. It is the key to all success and all failure for sure.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the sharper our minds are, the more prepared we are in every way. Like the more that just like you said, people whose minds are really, really sharp, it's easier to make that decision of, no, I'm going to go to the gym. And it's a lot harder for those that don't have sharp minds to just be able to just, say, nah, it's fine, I'll get it tomorrow, or I'll get it in 2 days, or whatever. And you're right, mindset is absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite books I've ever read. Holy cow, dude! Today has been a day. It's called Unbreakable Mind, and it talks a lot about this. It talks a lot about how every single time you make a decision to do something hard, or to just sit back and like you put it on the burner and you say I'll do it later or whatever, or you decide you're not going to do it, every single one of those decisions is basically like you're either creating these calluses in your mind like you do on your hands, or you're just allowing your mind to get soft like you do your hands if you're not lifting weights or whatever. And he talks about how a calloused mind is a hard mind, and it's basically like people that have that callous mind, when they're faced with that decision of, do I work hard, do I go do this, do I go the extra mile, or do I sit back, it becomes second nature. Like you said, it's not even a question. It's just like they don't even second guess it. It's just like, as soon as I think, okay, should I go to the gym for a second time? Yes, going.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I look at people like Andy Frisella, and I think that people like him have that mindset. Like he's at a place where he's faced with those kind of thoughts, and it's just like, it's not even a question. It's just like, yes, get your ass up and go do it. You know what I mean? And it shows. It shows every time that guy talks. It's like the guy literally, all he ever talks about is mindset. All he ever talks about is making your mind be sharp and hard and just freaking like ready for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. I think, and I've been exceptionally impacted by his content specifically because he always harps on that. He's always talking about mindset, and it's the thing that I really like about it, or like about not even just his content, but just, I guess you could call it motivational content in general, is when instead of it being motivational, it kind of flips on you, almost like a personal trainer, or almost like a dad would do, where it's like, stop being a little bee and like go do this now. It's like you're being a baby, and you're just like, huh! Like I feel like nothing will, like, I can't speak for the female brain, but I feel like the male brain is exceptionally lit up by that specifically, where it's just like, you're weak. And not only that, you're not being a leader. Not only you can't lead your own life, how are you supposed to expect yourself to lead anybody else? And it's just like, oh no, now you almost like have to scramble because you don't want to be a leaf scrumbling in the wind, getting clapped by the light breeze.
Yep. And like that's what they say about coaches too, though. They say that if you're, really, really good coaches, really, really good coaches are the kind of people that you actually hate. You shouldn't like or love your coach if you have a really good coach. I mean, think about it. Did you play football or anything in high school or any sports?
State champs, undefeated.
There you go.
All conference.
And it's like, dude, looking back now, you probably loved your coach, right? Looking back now, you're probably like, yo, my coach was, he made so many, he contributed to so many pivotal parts of my life, right?
100%.
I was the same way.
Yep.
But dude, in the moment, I freaking hated that guy. I absolutely hated my football coach, bro. I wanted to kill him in the first place. Like, I was like, hell no, dude, this guy sucks. And he would get in our face. He would cuss and he would scream and he would spit in our faces, and like, that guy at the time I was like, this guy's like, he has no remorse, like no shame. This guy's just gonna freaking kill us, up downs and freaking sprints for like hours sometimes. And I'm just like, I hate this guy. But looking back, I'm like, he was probably one of the most influential people in my life. Like to this day still. Right? A lot of people don't know this, but my Instagram handle, iWenster, it's actually my nickname in football. I told you that. That's what my coach called me, right? And it stuck with me so much that I actually decided to like make it my social media handle because the guy was constantly screaming that in my ears, right? Like, I went stop, get up, I went stop. And I have no idea why he called me that. And that's exactly how he sounded too. But like, he left such a strong imprint in my mind. And he's probably a big reason why I am so like, I don't know, I would consider myself when it comes down to like doing hard things, like I'm pretty open to do, like I will go and I will do hard things. And I think it's a lot because of people like him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, so I did not have the same experience with my high school football coach. And I feel like there's a variety of different ways of coaching, obviously. And one of them is kind of like fear-based, which is kind of like what you're talking about.
It definitely was. He put the freaking fear of God in our eyes.
See? So this is the thing is my high school football coach did not do that. And what I found so amazing about him was that he almost was the equivalent of a parent saying, like, I'm disappointed in you, as opposed to like slapping you around or yelling in your face or spitting in your face. He made you feel like what I remember at the very beginning of the season, the very beginning of my junior year, because we knew we were going to be good. We had a pretty stacked team. We made it almost to the end, and then we lost, and then we won the following year. He was like, you guys shouldn't want to win for me. You shouldn't want to win because you're afraid of me. You shouldn't want to win for any reason other than for yourself and for your teammates. When you work hard, you shouldn't be thinking about, I don't want coach to get mad at me, or you should be thinking about, I don't want to disappoint myself. I don't want to leave anything on the table and know that I didn't put everything that I had into this. You don't want to disappoint yourself. You don't want to look back and know that you disappointed yourself, and you don't want to look around in the weight room and see other people on the team and how hard they're working and you don't want to let them down, because it's when you're protecting the quarterback, or when you're hitting for the running back to run through, or when you're blocking somebody on defense, or when you're tackling somebody so that they don't score points. You don't want to know that somebody else worked harder, and that when you're in the trenches that you're not going to be able to work as hard or play with the same degree of skill as all of your teammates. He basically said that if we all didn't have that mindset, that we would lose. And that he's like, I'm not going to make you win on fear. He made us want to win for ourselves, and made it so that we would feel disappointed in ourselves and our inability to execute, because we knew that he was teeing us up to do so long as we were willing to put in the work. So he would guide us towards it, but was never really like yelling at us. And it was one of those guys that kind of like took notice all the time. And he would say something to you at the end of the practice, like, yo, you really pushed it today, and wouldn't be screaming and yelling out in the open. But it's like, it was almost like your dad being like, good job. And you're just like, yo, it was just like, the desire for that was far greater than the fear of him yelling at you or whatever else. And he like flipped it the complete opposite way. The defensive coach, on the other hand, he would always yell at us. He would say, take off the pillows, dude. Take off the pillows. He's like, you play with pillows. And he would always scream at us. And the defensive team was always driven by fear and insults and all of this. And I played offense, and he was like, and our offensive coach was much more on the camaraderie. Don't disappoint everybody else. We're all going to work hard. Don't be the guy that didn't work as hard as everybody else, or we're going to lose. One wink link, we bomb the whole thing.
That's actually kind of interesting, though, dude. If you think about that, like, so it was, honestly, it was kind of the same thing with my team, but it was flip flop. The assistant coach on my team was, or the defensive coach, was like a lot more like what you're describing, where it was kind of like good cop, bad cop, right?
Yeah.
Like Coach Locke was the freaking bad cop. And our defensive coach was like kind of the guy like you're explaining, where he easier going and a lot more. I don't want to say motivational. It wasn't motivational. It was more like inspirational, right? Like he would teach more lessons rather than just kind of like light fires under our ass. But it's interesting that you say that because I bet your defense was pretty freaking good, right or wrong? Am I wrong?
The defense was very good. Well, we won the state championship undefeated, but everything was good. The whole team was good.
Yeah.
The thing.
But you think about like the difference of coaching between offense and defense. Like, defense have to be straight killers, right? Like they have to be on all the time and just absolutely want to crush people. And so it's interesting if you think about like kind of the dynamic.
Yes.
I don't know. That's just immediately what I thought was like, oh, okay, there's a reason why he's coaching defense that way.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, that's right.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, defense is definitely more of like assassins, whereas the offense is more like a tactical squad where we knew that we would win with intelligence. And that was funny. The offense was always like its own clique and the defense was its own clique, and it was always just like the defensive coach would say to the defensive players, like, we're tougher than the offensive line. And the offensive coach and the offensive team would always be like, we're smarter than the defensive line. And that was kind of the different dichotomies. But one of the things that was crazy about offense, and I got to give credit to the offensive coach that he did that I think changed everything, was he would bring us out to pizza every Thursday, the night before the games, and the entire offensive line would just like basically break bread. And that camaraderie that we all got as a result of all becoming friends even further solidified the don't disappoint your teammate mentality, where it was just like everybody is gunning and we're all friends now. Like we owe it to each other. We owe it to ourselves. It was genius. And like I said, first state championship in school history, last state championship in school history, like undefeated, won all the awards. It was awesome.
It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense though, right? Like, the way, because you have on one side you have the one coach that's just straight up putting the fear of God in people's eyes, and then you have the other that's like making people. It's basically making you feel like you don't want to be a failure to yourself, and you also don't want to be a failure to the team, and that's the perfect match, right?
Exactly.
How did we get on this conversation? Oh, we were talking about
Purpose.
how like motivation, right? Like talking about how when you're like more callous when you're talking about motivation, because I've heard so many people say so many times motivation is crap, and I actually believe that. I think that's totally true. Motivation is fleeting, but I think that's one thing that Andy's really good at is it's not so much motivating, it's more just like kick you in the teeth, make you realize that you could be doing so much more and you could be so much harder mentally and emotionally and every other way. But then it also has this aspect of like, this already, right? It's almost like this, but you just refuse to accept it or act on it or whatever. And I think that's a really important piece of coaching.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can kind of like, you can be hard on people, but at the same time you have to make them realize that it's like, hey, this is something you already understand. You're just not doing it. And that's the part where you just need to kick them in the teeth, because they just need to be like, okay, yeah, like it's my fault, right? And teach people to, slowly, if they're not already, slowly adapt this idea of awareness and accountability. Because I think those two things are absolutely essential in this world. And it's two things that a lot of people struggle with: awareness and accountability. Yeah.
No, absolutely. That's something that I've actually talked about a few different times on here is like just knowing that when you hear something, that feeling that you get, that gut feeling where something is instinctual, instinctually that it's correct, is just your body recognizing something that you already know to be true. It's like you hearing something that you're like, yes, is because you already know it, and now you're hearing it validated externally, and that's why you get that gut feeling like it's right. It's almost like it's like your human ability to identify when a moment is wrong. Like, have you ever gone into a situation where you're like, something's wrong about it? Like, this is not going to go the way. Like,
something just feels off.
The gut, yeah, your gut has this instinctual ability to identify things that are really, really good or potentially really, really bad. And I think that that's the thing that I always feel like is like if you're hearing this and this is like twanging your mind, it's because you already know it instinctively, but you're just recognizing it being made available externally, and that's just you recognizing something you already know.
And I think, honestly, people also get like addicted to that. I mean, you think about this, just a thought I had right now, but you think about like seminars, and you think about what they call seminar junkies, right? People that just constantly pay tons of money to go to these like Tony Robbins seminars and these business seminars and all these different events, and they're just constantly dumping cash on these events, and they go and they listen and they hear all these things that are amazing and motivating and everything, and then they leave and they do nothing about it. I think people are addicted to hearing people tell them things they already know, but then for some reason they just don't act on them. And it's, how do you bridge that, right? Because I really do believe that a lot of people almost have this addiction to like motivational content and being told what they should do, even though they already know that that's what they should do, but then they just don't act on it. Like, and I don't know if it's just pure laziness or if it's deeper than that. I think a lot of people also struggle with this. A lot of people have see the world with this lens that basically says like, I'm afraid to fail, or I'm afraid to experience greatness, or what if this happens? What if that happens? And it holds them back from doing these things, even though they know that they should and that they need to, right? I think more people struggle with that feeling of I'm afraid to fail than most understand, and that holds a lot of people back.
I think that fear of doing the wrong thing or fear of investing time into something that may not work cripples lots of people from taking action. That's point number one. Point number two is lack of patience. So if you try something, you give up on it after a certain period of time because you believe that you should be seeing more traction by this point. That's point number two.
Yep.
Point number three, as to why do people attend all these events? I don't necessarily know. I do believe that it is partially laziness, but I think that what it really is a lot of people confuse action with execution or action with progress. And it's really simple to get to a place, considerably simpler than it is to execute on what you learned in that place after. It's much easier to say, I'm going to go here and then this will happen, as opposed to I'm going to go here. I need to extract all of the value out of it, and then I have to put it into practice going forward. And I think that in a lot of ways, for example, 5 years ago when I started, or 10 years ago, whatever it was, when I started going to the gym again, is like I realized that simply going to the gym actually wasn't enough. It's like, oh, well, not even that. It's just, and I don't even mean it like that, but it's like, I feel like we, in the same way that you can go to some of those seminars, it's like, you're like, oh, I'll just like do 30 minutes of cardio, or I'll do bench incline and such, but you don't push yourself. You don't measure what you're doing. You don't push it to get better the next time, and you lack intensity. That's one of the things that I've been learning a lot about the gym is like, I can come up with the habit of going every day, but it's the intensity and then the knowledge and the consistent pushing towards the next that I think has been the thing that holds most people back, including myself. And then you have to figure out how to bring that intensity consistently forever, knowing that it's only going to be small incremental gains over time. And you just have to always stick with it forever. And it works that way in business and fitness and whatever it is. And I think that a lot of the times it's like, well, if I go to these seminars, they sell you a bill of goods, like you're going to leave with X result, when the reality is that you still have to produce. And even when I would go to events and I wouldn't maybe talk to enough people, or I wouldn't open enough conversations, or I would open conversations that might have been the wrong conversations. It's like we constantly confuse action with progress or action with execution. And it's like we're busy doing things as opposed to creating growth. And I think that happens a lot in business, where it's like, well, I worked for 8 hours today. I worked all the way through the 8 hours, but you're not thinking about how effective that 8 hours actually was.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So to touch on your first point, or maybe it's your second, when you were talking about how people don't see results right away, so they kind of give up or throw in the towel or whatever.
Yep.
We've talked about this a couple times, and I've talked about this a lot, but I believe that comes down to, we are a society now, more than ever, I believe, where people want instant gratification and like instant results.
Yep.
So badly that they completely push aside long-term fulfillment. Because instant gratification, it doesn't last. It's fleeting, and it doesn't equal progress. Instant gratification is not progress. Long-term fulfillment is what I believe is actual progress, and what will actually pay off in the end. But people aren't willing to stick it out. They're not willing to continue to do the little things to be able to experience that long-term fulfillment. I actually did a training on this at my sales training this weekend in Dallas. A lot of people, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Have we ever talked about kind of the path to success, or like what the path to progress looks like?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So if you were to ask people, hey, what do you think the path to success looks like? If you were to draw it out, what would you draw? And like 9 times out of 10, people will draw this like roller coaster, right? They'll just draw these like ups and downs the whole time, because people truly believe that's what the path to success is. That's what it looks like. Is that you have your ups and you have your downs, and you have your ups and you have your downs. But the truth is, it's a little different than that. Most of the time, your path to success in anything you do, whether you're learning an instrument or you're learning a skill or you're in the gym or whatever, you usually start off on an incline, because when you start whatever this is, you're usually very engaged and very excited and like kind of on the top of your game, because it's like, I want to do this, right? I want to learn this skill. I want to get fit. I want to read more. I want whatever it is. I want to get better at business. So you experience this incline of success, right? But then every single time, right after you experience that incline, you experience a little dip. Sometimes the dip is bigger than others. Sometimes it's whatever, but everyone experiences this dip. And it's just, you go from like being super excited and super dialed in, and everything is firing the way it should, to all of a sudden this little dip comes along. And then after that dip, you hit a plateau. And that plateau is just kind of like a consistent, let's take for learning the guitar, for example, right? You'll have this period where you're like reading sheet music or whatever, and it just kind of stays stagnant for a little bit. That's your plateau. But then, as long as you continue to do all of the little things, as long as you continue to consistently practice or consistently do whatever it takes to do what you're trying to do, every single time you'll hit another incline after that plateau. So the truth is, the path to success actually goes like this, then you go down, then you go straight, then you go up, then you go down, then you go straight, then you go up. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because think about the people that don't do those little things. They hit that dip, and that dip just goes farther down until they decide to once again start to do the little things. Then they plateau again, but then by the time they've done this, the person that has continued to do the little things, continue to stay consistent, they're up here, and then that person's down here, right? So there's always that like gap in progress, if that makes sense. It's harder to explain when I don't have something to draw it on. But my point is, people don't understand, and they underestimate the importance of doing the little things consistently, of continuing to just do them every single day. Like, I've been lifting pretty consistently for like 15 years. I'm not like shredded or anything, right? But I can hold my own, and I'm not a fat slob, right? And I can eat what I want and still look good. Like, but that has come from doing it consistently for 15 years, right? I haven't ever stopped. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, I want to start working out, but like, I want to get shredded in 9 months. And it's like, sure, you can probably do that if you hired the right coach and pay enough money or whatever. But that's the other thing is everything we do costs three things: time, effort, and money, right? And too many people aren't willing to, number one, make those investments, and number two, follow through with them. That's what I find.
Yep, I do believe that's the case. I want to respond to Shay. Shay has been saying in the comments that they got some questions. Ask the question. We're looking at the comments. Just ask the question.
Dude, my comments aren't even showing up.
Oh, I wonder why.
What a bag of rice.
That is
Anyway,
that's
yeah,
a true rice bag.
That is a true rice bag.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of my favorite quotes ever was from my dad, and he said the impact of moving several feet the impact of moving several inches a day every day is far greater than moving several feet at a time once in a while. And I feel like that has been such a huge lesson to me, where it's just like you have to just keep making incremental growth no matter what. And yeah, it's going to go up and down just like you said, but really where it goes is it goes up 1% a day or 1% every 2 days or whatever it is. But if you can just make that goal. And then there was this really successful domain investor that I was really gassed on when I first started buying and selling domain names. And he said, when you focus on the daily as it relates to internet, like online revenue or internet income, he's like, when you focus on the daily, you solve the monthly and the yearly in and of itself, because you just figure out how to improve from $1 a day to $1.01 a day to $1.02 a day. He's like, the only thing that matters is that you can always multiply anything that's not zero. So you can multiply whatever it is by 365. And he's like, just focus on the daily income. How much did you make today versus yesterday? And he's like, it solves all the problems just in and of itself. And I think that same thing goes to really, that lesson applies to really everything in life, where it's just like, what did I do today? Did I make sure that I showed up today? Did I make a penny more than I made the day before, or $1 more, or whatever? And if not, then how did my week go? How did my month go? How did my quarter go? And it's those small incremental attention that makes a huge impact over time.
It's the compound effect. Like, everybody, I think, knows what the compound effect, but if you don't, it's basically the idea of if I were to give you $1 million or a penny a day multiplied, or a penny doubled every day for a month, which one would you choose, right? Some people will say, oh, I want $1 million right now, but they don't realize that if you were to take the penny doubled every day for a month long, it ends up being, I don't even know what the number is, but it ends up being something like astronomically higher than
Yeah, it's considerably more, yeah.
It's the same idea, but again, I think people live in this state of, and it has a lot to do with the messages that are being put out by the media, and just the idea of getting everything without actually putting any effort in nowadays is so strong. Even this weekend, dude, like I did my sales training, and over the next day or two after I had spoken, I can't tell you how many people came up or hit my DMs and said, hey, can I get your PowerPoint that you use, because it had a ton of really good stuff, right? And I was like, well, I don't give my PowerPoint away, but I do a training. I do a month-long training, or I do a day training for a team if you want to hire me. And then I had probably 10 of them that were like, yeah, sure, and they hired me, and I'll be doing that for them. But like the rest of them, of course, were like, oh, okay, no worries, man. I just wanted to see if I could get your PowerPoint. And it's like, so many people want to, they want to receive, but they're not willing to invest, right? It's the same thing with like these seminars. People go to these seminars and they listen to a speaker, and the speaker absolutely crushed it, and they learn so much from them. And then the speaker says, hey, by the way, if you like that presentation, I'll be doing a coaching course for the next month or whatever, and here's the price. And what that person is actually doing, what that coach is actually doing, is they're cutting. Remember when I said there's three things: there's time, effort, and money that you have to spend to be able to progress, right? And what that coach does is actually cuts out two of them. They cut out the time and a lot of the effort. right? So there's just that one thing left, which is the money, which is pay for this coaching and come get it from me. But so many people aren't willing to do that because, again, they just expect to be given those things, right? And I think that is also a big reason why so many suffer from this like very weak mindset. Because when you believe when you have this sense of entitlement where you believe that everything should be given to you, but you shouldn't have to expend a lot of energy or effort or time or money, then you put yourself in a weak state at all times, in my opinion. Because you're just, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like people like that are very weak-minded.
I think that that's a fair assessment. I think one of the things that holds people back is that there's always so much promise that comes from buying things that it's almost like you can get fatigued from it. I remember it's like you buy this program or you buy this program and it guarantees you that X, Y, and Z is going to happen, and then it doesn't, or you were sold based on that promise, so that it becomes like, how many things can I even buy? Whereas conversely, some people will buy every one of them and get nothing from any of them other than buying the programs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they'll spend the money, but then they won't. Yeah, for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
because here's the other thing: when you put money to something, it becomes real. Now you're investing real cash, and on top of it, now you're almost obligated to do more work. You are obligated to do more work. Not
almost.
You're purchasing a job. Yes, you're purchasing a task, and you're already set back. And I think that that's a barrier to entry for a lot of people. And such is the game, right?
Yep, for sure. I see it all the time in the coaching space, for sure, man. I see a lot of people who do one of the two. They either don't want to spend the money, but they expect to get the results, or they do spend the money, but they don't do what it takes to actually get the results. I always say the same thing when I get up. Anytime I get up on stage, I always say the same thing. I say, look, everything I'm about to share with you has the potential to change your life drastically in business and in sales, right? If you actually listen to what I'm going to teach you and apply it, your sales will increase exponentially. However, it's your decision whether or not you just go through this training or you allow the training to go through you, right? That's what I like to say. And you can apply that to everything. If you read a book, you can either read the book or you can really like immerse yourself in the book and allow the teachings and the principles and the stories and the things that are in that book to go through you, right? And stay with you at all times. It's the difference of just kind of going through the motions and then really being intentional with things. I think people these days, not all people, but a lot of people lack intention when they do a lot of things, when they do anything, whether it's business or whether it's relationships or whether it's or whatever. It's like you were saying with the gym, right? What you realized is that you were talking about intensity. I think that's also intention. You go to the gym with a certain intention and you're intentionally there and you're present and you actually are like doing what it takes to see results rather than just kind of going to go and, hitting the treadmill or lifting a few weights or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being intentional, I think, is what a lot of people lack. And I think that idea of being intentional, once again, it all goes back to the same thing. It goes back to being mentally strong. When your mind is very strong, you have the ability to be intentional with everything you do.
Yep, I agree. I definitely agree. I think that these are all very valuable and on point lessons. And really, it comes down to the exact same thing, which is just like, what are you winning the daily battle with your mind? Are you winning that moment to moment decision making process with all of this stuff?
Yep. And by doing that, once again, to kind of bring it full circle, it puts you in a position where when opportunities present themselves and greatness presents itself, and it may manifest itself in a way that you never anticipated, but it doesn't matter because no matter how it comes about, you're ready. It's just like you have FitCon in Utah. I hit you up. I was like, hey, come to Utah, come hang out for a few days. And it's like, you're in a place now, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, every single way where it's like, yeah, I can bounce for a few days and I can go and network with people and I can go hang out in Utah for a few days. And it's like, that may not have been something you anticipated, but it doesn't matter because as it came along, you're ready for it, right?
Yep.
Same thing with like Aaron Zimmerman. Like he was like, hey, come to FitCon in Dallas. You're like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's putting yourself in a place where you're able to accept those opportunities that I believe you actually really have kind of like you've really like made it. Like having that ability gets you in more rooms with more powerful people. It puts you in more situations with more opportunity. It gives you more experiences that have the ability to change your life forever. But it all comes down to what are you doing in the background? What are you doing every single day? All the little things. What are you doing to become physically fit? What are you doing to become mentally stronger, to stay mentally and emotionally strong? And all of those things add up and they eventually lead to opportunity, which I believe in turn leads to fulfillment, which leads to purpose.
I certainly believe that to be true. And it's like just taking, it's basically the willingness to take the shots, not knowing necessarily what's going to be on the other side of whatever opportunity presents itself. And that's another thing that comes with, just like you said, preparing all the other things, making sure that those things are in order so that when those things present themselves, that you can really seize them.
Yep, absolutely. Did that person ever put their questions in there? Now someone was asking questions.
I don't think so. I think they're having an entirely different chat in the chat.
Yeah, you have people talking about pillows.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything. I think they are not asking those anymore. Well, yo, man, it was
talking about pillows and covers.
Yeah, well, yo, man, it was good chatting, dude, and we will catch up. We'll catch up again tomorrow, man.
For sure, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, brother.
Catch you later, brother.
See you, man.
See ya.
What was the question about coaches, Jen? We are listening. Yeah, no, I feel that. I see Chooks is going ham in the chat. What's up, people on Facebook and YouTube? What are you guys doing over there? So I think that one of the other classes learned. Joe said, "Was I still in Connecticut when I won the state championship?" Yes. Do you read our chats after? The chats go away after the live stream ends, so I can't read the chats after. I can pretty much only catch the chats that happen when I'm looking at the feed itself. And when I'm talking, I get distracted by them, so I try not to go too ham and cheeseler on the comments because you can get distracted. Ryan's talking about the Michigan. Look, I think that the thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to create a sense of false hope in myself that these recounts and all this other stuff is going to create some type of differing result. And I think that I'm just going to be patient and allow those things to play out because it's like a lot of these things were already brought to court. A lot of these things were promised one time, and it's like, fool me once. I'm not trying to get fooled out and goosed out twice. So it's like, I don't know. A. Morcine says you can't save them. No, you can't save the comments. The comments get saved on Facebook and YouTube, but they don't get saved on the gram. Yeah, the comments are live right now for sure. I see Chooks going nuts in there. Peace, dude. Yeah, I just don't want to get let down by these the audits. I don't want to let them get me all hyped up and excited and whatnot, and then end up disappointed because it doesn't net anything. And it's like I find it frustrating when people are like, this is it, this is the point where this is where the truth will be revealed. And it's like, I guess, fam, but it's like there's been so many things, there's been so many disappointments that have happened as a result of all this stuff. It's like we've been let down a couple of times now. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like, don't twist my bag, you know? It's like, so I don't know. I'm like on the fence about all that stuff. And I see a lot of people celebrating it and whatnot. And I think that that's fine. But it's like, I don't know, Beanbag, maybe. Like, it's like a maybe, but I don't know, Bill. But like, probably not, but maybe, but I don't know. So I don't know. My wager is that absolutely nothing happens. As much as I hate to admit it, I would wager that literally nothing changes at all, and the world is garbage and everything is trash. What's up, Anna? How's it going? Yeah, so I just don't want to get my bags. I don't want to get my bag twisted by these psychos. It's like, I hope so, but I don't know. I just doubt it. I doubt anything's gonna happen. I think that's the thing that I'm like, I don't know. And everyone's like, oh, this is it, goo. It's like, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. There's a super secret underground cable, bro. This is it. It's like, I don't know. What about the guy that I sent you of the video stealing the vial from CVS? Look, there have been many times where grainy internet videos have been used to bamboozle people. So look, like, okay, there's a video of a guy stealing a vial from CVS. Did he steal the vial from CVS? What does that prove? Who is this guy? When was that video made? What does that even mean? What did he even steal? I just don't trust any of this shit. Like, I saw this video today that was posted, and I believe it was My Maria that posted it, and it was like a woman that put a magnet on her arm, and it was like, I got the juice right here, and look at this magnet. And it's like, okay, maybe. It's a maybe, Bill. Okay, it's a maybe, Bill. And I'm not ragging on My Maria. I'm just saying those are the types of videos that I believe are overly deceptive and may be a distraction from the real truth of what's going on. So this woman, like, supposedly got the juice right here, and she takes a magnet and she puts it over it, and the magnet stays there. And then she's like, this is the other arm, and she puts it there and it doesn't. And it's like, I don't know, like, there's a variety of different ways that you could fake that video. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff that throws me off about people that are like all about like, I don't know, like pineapple under the sea. It's like, maybe, Bill, maybe. But I don't know, dude. Like, I could make that video literally right now. It's like, you know how I would do that? I'll tell you exactly how I would do that. I would go and get some honey from the other room, and I would put some honey right here on my arm, right? And then I would take the other arm, and I would not put honey there. You would stick it on the honey on one side, or have one side of the magnet be sticky. Then you would take the magnet off and be like, you see? Then you would take the non-sticky side of the magnet, put it on the other arm, and it would fall off. I mean, what are we doing? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not dumb. It's just like, that's the type of stuff that pisses me off. It's like, stop broadcasting that. It's like, that is like counterproductive to the game, Bill. You know, one side of the magnet's sticky. You put tape on it or whatever. You put some glue on it. The glue sticks to the arm. Then you use the other side that doesn't have glue and you stick it to that arm and it falls off. Look, it's magnet. It's like, and then like all the people that are using this as controlled opposition are like, ha, ha, ha. Like, they're just like, look at these idiots. Look at these idiots. Meanwhile, 50,000 people, hundreds of thousands of people share this around. They're like, did you see about the magnets and the what now? And meanwhile, we're all talking about inconsequential nothing burger, and it makes us look stupid. It just makes us look dumb. So it's just like, I could think of 1,000 ways that you could fake that video. So it's like, stop tickling our bag. Like, that really bothers me. It's like, Dog, no, stop doing that. And the sad part about it all, the sad thing about it all is that those things spread at such an exponential clip that make every other video that's actually legit not spread as quickly. Think about it. If you got a piece of information that was really valuable versus if you got a juicy piece of gossip, which one of those things would pass around your social circle at a faster rate? You understand what I'm saying? It's like people love drama. People love things that light them up. So it's like, yeah, maybe, Bill, but like probably not. It's just like, it's so discouraging. And that's just, I feel like that's the stuff that makes us look dumb. It's just like spreading disinformation to otherwise well-researched people that could do something productive with that time, that are now squandering that precious time thinking that there's some magnetization in the juice. And like, maybe there is, but show me 5 other videos of people doing that same thing. It's like there's 100 million people in the United States of America that got the juice. Don't we think that maybe more than one freaking person would have that video? It's like, all right, so let's say that is true. Show me 10 of those tomorrow. Show me 1,000 of those tomorrow. But no, you're not going to see that. And then that person that made that video is like, this is hilarious. It's just like, dude, I could come up with a million ways to fool otherwise well-meaning and intelligent people. But no, it's like, oh. And that's why I get thrown off when it comes to the conspiracy stuff, is it's just like, it's like, yeah, but let's talk about things that are more productive towards the cause. We are objectively losing things right now. Like, we're objectively getting clapped literally right now. Yet we're talking about like magnetized juice, like Pompeo. It's like pineapple, like under the sea. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just like, that's the type of stuff where it's like, I'm not going to share that. It's like, look at this grainy video of this guy doing this thing. Isn't that crazy? Like, around the horn we go. And then like every idiot's like, sick. And it's just like, this makes us look so dumb. Did you see the magnet? And then all that otherwise productive time that could otherwise be spent talking about things that actually matter and are probably or more likely to be real, we're not talking about. We're not talking about the pipeline. We're not talking about things that are literally happening. We're talking about some magnetized Pompeo juice. Under, like, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I just, like, hit me with an I don't know, Bill, because tickle my bag. I don't know. Yeah, the magnet. It's like, I don't know, Pop. Like, probably not, guy. I don't know. It's like, that is probably not real. But whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. I just think that there's a lot of deception going on. And I think generally speaking, and this is the message that I continuously keep trying to press. And this is the message that I'm trying to share with other people that are part of the, whatever you want to call it, part of the movement, Bob. It's like, let's talk about things that can objectively be proven to be true or have a high likelihood of being true. And let's focus on those things that will objectively move the needle forward towards advancing towards things that we actually need to happen. It's like, let's talk about things that'll get us to where we need to go. Let's pretend that maybe that magnet is real. Okay, cool. What does that do about all these other things? What does that do about people in diapers? What does that do about your local community? What does that do about the restaurant that lost all of its employees? What does that do about the inflation that's plaguing everybody? And I understand the logic that like, but someone needs to talk about it. I guess, yes, I understand that, but it's like a group united is considerably more powerful than one that's fragmented around. And one thing that the left generally does is they know how to rally around a cause, albeit a bad cause and an objectively horrifying cause, but they have the ability to unite. And that unity that that I don't even know how they're able to get, that unity is why they are kicking everybody on the right in the face. And they are objectively winning the battle right now. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, they're kicking us it's like, they are literally winning, and it's so obvious. They have every major city. They have every major economic hub. They have all of the border towns, every city on a river, on a lake, every city on the ocean, every oceanfront town that has any significant economic impact, all the population centers, the presidency. It's like they got everything. They're pressing all of this crazy stuff through. Literally right now, they're trying to federalize the election. It's like they're doing all the stuff. They got AOC, who's going to be a source of horrible, horrible ideas for the remainder of time. It's like these people are psychopaths. And you know what's crazy is that they got the rest of the world in the bag too. All you had to do was watch that Build Back Better. Just watch Build Back Better. Every other major country in the world is saying the same thing. They got everybody in the bag. And we're over here talking about a magnet. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I just feel like it's so counterproductive to the cause, Pop. But whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, tickle my bag of rice. Chuck says, how much do I need to send since you declined my Venmo request? I don't know, man. That's up to you, my friend. Yeah, but like meanwhile, they're just like pushing all this garbage, and it's like, that's what I'm saying. Is just like, if we can't all generally speaking unite around a common cause, that's how they're gonna get everybody. It's like, Basement Joe literally had almost no support when he was running for the president, right? At the very beginning of the campaign, his support was extremely low. And people like Krusty, who was plucked from obscurity, she had no support either. Okay? She bombed out before the first vote. She was out for the first vote. She was wildly unpopular and totally ran out of money. Joey Basement had almost objectively very, very little support. He didn't win until all of them rallied around him. Bernie backed out, Elizabeth Warren backed out, and all of the other non-contenders, they all disappeared. But Bernie had a real chance, and he backed out so that he could take the reins, because they understood that uniting around someone as garbagey as Joseph Basement was the only way that they were going to win, because he had the name recognition and he had Barry O in his corner. So they knew that the only one that would in theory be able to win would be a guy that basically is not mentally there, that everybody could rally behind, that has name recognition. Nobody would believe it if Elizabeth Warren, it's like, that just wouldn't happen. And Bernie is a crazy old man socialist yelling about kids on his lawn. Like, they knew, and they're smart enough. That's the thing, is like, as stupid as these people are, they're very, very smart. They understand how to manipulate the system to obtain the people in the right positions to get what they want. They know how to win at getting what they want. And there's something needs to be said about that. So it's like, Doug, yeah, we're over here talking about like, I hope Donnie resurfaces in a submarine from under the sea. And it's like, yo, there's a midterm. Yo, there's an HR1 coming up. Yo, and we're all just like looking around into the trees and into the stars and being like, but I hope Donnie is like, Donnie's on the 18th hole trying to putt and he wants a slice of chocolate cake at the clubhouse. Like, I love Donnie, I'm pro Donnie, but it's just like, how can we so clearly overlook all of the things that he did that maybe were not that great? How can we overlook what happened on the 6th? How can we look over leading all of his supporters like lambs to the slaughter and all of those people getting arrested? Every single person was talking about Big Nance and all these people on the left. They're all going to get arrested. It's going to be a military tribunal. They're going to put them in a fence around the Capitol, and everyone's going to go to jail. The only people that went to jail were Donnie supporters. The only people that are sitting in a prison cell right now are Donnie supporters. All the people that ran up in there and they got trapped. They took all the cops away and they literally walked them in. You could see the videos of them literally walking them in and letting them in. And those people got led like lambs to the slaughter, and they're all in prison or getting investigated by the FBI. And it's just like, I hope Donnie comes back to save us. It's like, yo, this guy led us off a cliff. I'm pro Donnie, but for Christmas' sake, he pumped all of that taxpayer dollars into the juice. He encouraged everybody to take the juice. Even after he was out, the guy got depersoned when he had the opportunity to sort out the social stuff while he had the ear of the world. But no. And we're going to sit here and worship a golden effigy of him and be like, oh, and like be like magnet. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we're missing the point here. And I see people mentioning Canada. Canada's getting clapped. Like, literally clapped. They're like arresting a pastor. It's like you could go to a fight. There was a boxing match in Texas over the weekend with 70,000 people at it. 70,000 people sitting in chairs inside, and you're getting arrested for telling people to go to church in Canada. It's like, that's not that far away. And we're just like, oh, Donnie under the sea. It's like, no, like, I'm so frustrated by that. It's like, we are missing the point here. But no, Donnie, Pompeo. It's like, we're living in a pineapple under the literal sea. But whatever. I don't know, man. And then people are like, I used to follow Bobby until he turned on Donnie, and he used to think of such and such and such. And it's like, yeah, bro, because I got bamboozled. All right? It's like, I went up to the guy says, come on the 6th, the truth will be revealed. You'll find everything out. I'm standing there on Constitution Avenue, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, this is bad. Somebody that's playing 700-dimensional upside-down underwater chess while hanging from a string on a Black Hawk, bungee jumping down into a submarine into a pineapple under the sea should have known and should have been able to predict that the, democratically run people in the city of Washington, D.C. might trap you, dog. Like, maybe should have been able to see while he was playing 700-dimensional upside-down underwater chess that this was a trap, and yet led us in like we're like, it's like, why didn't you think of that? Why didn't you think and or know that type of thing would happen? You tell me the upside benefit of telling 150,000 to 250,000 people to march over to the Cap on the 6th and be like, show Mike Pence that he needs to make the right decision. It's like, dog, he's inside. That you can't just, if we were a country that ran on mob rule, that there's just a bunch of people yelling outside, and that's somehow going to change the decision that you literally already made, that there are laws in place that require you to do certain things. It's like this. It's like, I don't know, man. Yet somehow it's like, oh, and it's like, I'm on Team Donnie, trust me. But it's just like, I'm just saying, how long are we going to let this go for? We're just going to be like, I don't know. Like, I hope so, Bill. But in the meantime, while they sort that out, something that has absolutely nothing to do with us or our opinions or us yelling or literally anything, I would hope that we could maybe, I don't know, centralize our focus onto something that could objectively help us move the country forward to the right place. Change the way that people are thinking about all this stuff so that we could succeed sooner while these psychopaths muzzle our children in school. It's like we're worried about a magnet and like Donnie under the sea while like kids are in plastic boxes, aren't allowed to speak to each other. Like, this is hell. How much do I have to donate for you to bring Donnie on the live? I don't know, man. $200. I have no idea. If Donnie is the real Donnie, then probably a whole lot more. But I don't know. I'll tell you what's about to be the most valuable thing in the world is unjuiced seed. Thanks, Chooks, for the Venmo. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Freemasonry? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, look, I've told this tale before. I've told this story before, and this is what I'm saying. Is like, I've gone down the proverbial rabbit hole. I've gone into all that stuff. I've looked into it. I used to listen to Jones every day. It made me depressed. Some of the things he said came true. Some of the things he said didn't. It's like you can get lost all up in there. And in life, we have to figure out how to prioritize where we expend our mental energy and whether or not it's going to move the needle forward in our life and advance us towards things that we need to happen. And I think that prioritization is a huge thing about life and a huge thing in business that helps you understand that if you can prioritize your time and move the things that are not going to move the needle down towards the bottom and focus on the things that create impact at the top, you can move forward at a faster clip. I'm not saying that we shouldn't pay attention to these things. I'm not suggesting that somehow they are not real, but what I am saying is that you got to figure out how to prioritize your time. You got to figure out how to prioritize your effort. You got to figure out how to prioritize what you think about, talk about, and act on. We are squandering precious time. We are squandering precious mental resources talking about things that don't matter, talking about things that are inconsequential, talking about things that will otherwise not progress any of us forward. Jen says I bought sperm on the internet for IVF. What? Holy Christmas. That's intense, fam. So, thanks, Chooks, you're the man. Thank you. I don't wear a diaper, and they politely speak with strangers every day, and I feel like I'm helping. All right. What's your specs, your PC, bro? What's the specs of my PC? Geez, I don't even know, man. I know it's a quad core. I know it's a quad core Intel, some jazz. I know I got 4 sticks of DDR3, 2 pretty good video cards. I don't know. It was a long time since I built it, to be honest with you. I think I want to say a 3.2 gig. To be honest with you, I don't know. It's been a while since I built this computer. So I do have a solid state hard drive, yeah. Look, so what I'm saying is that in this, whatever it is that we're doing and in our lives, the best thing that everybody can do is improve every single aspect of your life as much as you can and stop squandering precious time on things that are inconsequential that will not move the needle forward. I can't tell you how much time I've wasted on things that don't matter. We have to think about the 80-20 rule, and that our time here is limited, and that the ability for us to advance at any expeditious rate it requires focus. It requires understanding the Pareto principle. It requires understanding the 80-20 rule. It requires understanding that 20% of your effort creates 80% of your results. So it's like, what are we spending our time talking about and thinking about? What are we doing with our precious time? And as I get older or whatever, as I understand more about how the game works, so to speak, I just realized that where we expend our limited resources is incredibly crucial. And then if we don't pay more attention to that minute to minute, conversation to conversation, day to day, we're going to get trapped when you extrapolate that over the long term. So it's like this conversation, it's like there's 100 people or whatever. There's 60 people on here. There's 20 people on Facebook and YouTube. It's like, all right, there's 80 people watching, and then thousands of people that are going to watch over the course of the next 24 hours that are going to see this content. What are we doing with the thousands of minutes that are being squandered on this? It's like, what are we talking about? Are we going to talk about something that we might be true, we don't know is true, that I saw on an upside down pizza box written in crayon? Or are we going to talk about something that is actually like objectively there? It's just like, I don't know, Pop. I just feel like that's the thing that's missing from call it the right, call it the freedom, call it the whatever movement, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you call it. But it's just like, I feel like we squander a lot of time on inconsequential nothing burgers and we're losing as a result. There's this thing in economics called opportunity cost. And I think that what we're doing is we're squandering the opportunity cost of all this time, and we're not aware of it. I've said this to people before, especially I find older people, like specifically kind of like the boomer generation, they don't consider time, I think, in the same way that I would say maybe a younger generation does. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I don't even mean to limit it to a generation. I'm just using my example, or my personal experience. But like, I understand that time is finite, and I also understand that the long-term impact of me doing something from age 20, 30, 40, whatever, magnified over 25 years of time in theory that I think that I could hopefully would have the ability to survive, is like, there's so much greatness that could happen if we could understand how to eliminate and cut the fat early and then multiply that over decades of time. It's like I hate the idea that we can't change the world, especially, or change whatever, make outlandishly huge progress towards something. So I look at this structure that's like, this structure is soured, right? It's like the government is corrupt, such and such and such. It's like there's all these bad things that are just all around. And I just think to myself, do I want to go through my entire life believing that this can never be changed? Or do I want to just believe like that's just the way it is. And it's like, you can't convince me that from age 34 to 64 that myself and a variety of people that are well-meaning and focused, that understand how finite time is and how impactful small things are to the greater picture. There's no way that you could convince me that over 30 years of time that the vast majority of these things could be fixed. It's like every task seemed like an insurmountable mountain to climb at one point or another. Yet a very small group of very motivated and dedicated individuals figured out how to prioritize their time and effort towards moving the needle forward so that by the end of their lifetime, that thing was solved, or at the very least, considerably further along than it was when they started. And that's how it works. That's the lesson that we need to take from all this. Oh, it just stops here? It's like, so many great things have happened in history, and the reality is that there can't be generations that pass where more great things aren't done. So all the people that we look up to, the Martin Luther Kings, the George Washingtons, the Andrew Jacksons, the Abraham Lincolns, who's the Abraham Lincoln right now? Who's Abraham Lincoln? Because there needs to be one. Don't we see? Like, we need one. Now, we need a variety of them. We can't just have Elon Musk. And it's just like, is Donnie that guy? Maybe, Pop. But like, I don't know, Jack. It's like, what if I could only just tickle your bag for a second? What if it was you, you bag of rice? What if that actually was you? And I hate this idea like, well, what can I do? Like, be great. Be better. Because you believing that you can't be that means you won't. And then what is the point? Oh, like maybe. No, dude. That's just what you set out to do. Then you do it. Those who say they can and those who say they can't are usually both right. What is that, a quote? Who's that a quote from Socrates? It doesn't even matter. You get the idea. It's like those who say they can and those who say they can't are usually both right. So it's like, what do you want to do? I would rather you think that you can and maybe get 10% of the way there and potentially fail or whatever you want to call failing than not try at all or believe that you can't. And it's like so many people are in this never-ending perpetual cycle of low energy, low belief, counterproductive thought that means that they don't have the capacity for greatness because of X, Y, or Z stupid self-imposed obstacle that prevents them from being great. Everybody is just like, why me though? I have X problem. It's like, why not you? There has been so many people that have done tremendous things that have had every objective reason to fail, to not be able to do it, every disadvantage imaginable. Yet they have done the greatest of things. Yet we're going to sit here and be like, but little old me, I live in Kentucky or whatever. It's like, I can't. It's like, cool. That's a great way for you to suck. It's like, stop doing that. Like, raise your vibration, you bag of cheese. Like, God, it's like, you don't have to be the smartest, the best looking, having the most resources, be the most connected. You don't need any of those things. All you have to have is belief, the will to succeed, drive, direction, purpose, perseverance, belief in yourself, trust in the plan, belief in the game, and ambition. It's like, it's like, I know that's a list of things, but it's like not that many things. It's like, but hey, whatever. Because I can tell you this much. I think I have a tremendous capacity for greatness, which means to me that I will continue to think that way, even when sometimes I don't feel that way, in perpetuity, forever. And because of that reason, great things will happen as a result of the efforts that I make, because I believe that that is what it is. I believe that that's the purpose, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I cannot be convinced otherwise. I have unwavering belief and lack of doubt that greatness is an ongoing process that never stops unless you stop, unless you give up. There is no failure except in quitting. So it's like, all right, I'll just do this forever. I'll just do this forever. And if I do, and if I have all these beliefs, and if I continue to increase the intensity and focus on small improvements and objectively find the buckets that I need to fill when I need to fill them throughout this process, I will win. I will win big. Other people will win, and we will collectively win as a result because of that consistent and unwavering lack of doubt. Lack of doubt, not lack of fear, lack of doubt. So it's like, I don't doubt that capacity exists. It's unwavering, which means that as a result of that, I have an unquenchable thirst for more. All people can, should, and hopefully will have that feeling, because it's just like, we need more people that are great. We need more people that believe they are great, because every person that ever was great believed it first for a really long time and was willing to put in the work necessary in order to actualize that greatness. No one just was great. They were like, yep, I'm about to do that. And then they just kept doing it with an unwavering lack of doubt. Thanks, Anna. Thank you, Jennifer. Look, so it's just like, wow, I saw Joseph. Joseph just made a donation on BobbySauce.com. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for that. And thank you to everybody that bought the badges. I really appreciate it. And for the Venmos and stuff, thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. But see, I want everybody to just remember the simple thing, which is that, like, as I've said a million times and I'll continue to repeat, it's like the battle is lost or won in your mind first. We know how to win. We have these self-imposed obstacles where it's like, but if I can't, what if this or what if that? And we just dig ourselves into a hole. And it's the control of the mindset. It's the control of the thoughts that we have day to day. It's the control of how we handle the small things that amount to the big things. And I've said it 100 times, but it's like, make your bed. It's like, that is the simplest thing. It's just like, make your bed. Like, one of the best investments that I ever made once I had enough money to do so was having a maid. And then I had a maid every once a month, and then once every 2 weeks. And then 6 months ago, I started having her come every Monday. I love it. The day starts sharp. That thought process is out of my head. My mind and my mental energy is free to do more great things, because in the hour and a half or 2 hours that I would have spent on this live stream here today, I would have spent cleaning the house. And instead of cleaning the house, I can focus that time and energy here. And it's like, this is objectively more valuable, not only towards the purpose, towards the career, towards the advancement of whatever you want to call it, than the $60 is that I had to pay the maid. So it's like, if we can just figure out how to work smarter, not harder, how to do all these other things that we don't understand how they'll play in, but we're constantly making advancements towards things that will better our lifestyle. It's like, fortify your financial position, figure out ways to generate cash flow, make more money at the job that you have, get a better job, save money, invest money. Don't buy the watch, don't buy the purse, don't buy the first class ticket, it's like, save your cash and invest it in things that can generate a return. Invest your time in things that will grow the needle, that will grow the brand, that will grow the operation. It's like, all the great things come as a result of those types of sacrifices, and not even sacrifices, investments of time, investments of thought. It's like, the relationships that I build with you guys that come as a result of me having the $60 to pay the maid so that I don't have to clean the house. And instead I can do live streams in the 3 hours that I would have spent cleaning the house. Those relationships improve your life. You guys reward me back. The channel grows. The account is shared. It helps you objectively improve your life. And then everybody wins. It's like, I understand the high level impact that comes as a result and on the other side of those types of decisions being made. It's like, it's not about the $60. It's not about the maid. It's about having the ability to have the maid when the opportunity presented itself so that I can do more of the things that make more sense, that are going to ultimately have more of an objective, that are going to lead me objectively more on a path to greater success and greater growth and greater everything. Yeah, I mean, I think so much about that, about being in a clean house, how that changes the way that I think throughout the day. It's nuts. Somebody said my video is blurry. Well, that's not good. I don't know why that is. Maybe because I have a couple of apps open. Let me close it. I hope that clears it up. I don't know. Am I less blurry now? I'm pixely. Oh, that's not good. It's low resolution. I don't know what to do about that. I feel like it may have come as a result of me being on the live stream, because I know it reduces quality when I do that. So I don't know. Oh, what's up, Ray? On Facebook. So it says it's a little bean baggy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I flip the camera, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what to do about it. But whatever. Yeah, when I have someone on the live, the resolution drops. Yeah, I know that to be true. I think that's an Android thing, to be honest. So I don't know. So go to the water closet. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, my resolution's trash right now. Oh well. Nice blinds beanbag. Yeah, I mean, they're nice. I got them from Blinds. What the hell is it called? Budget Blinds. Done Dirty, what up, bro? What's up, bro? How's it going, man? Resolution is trash, but vibrations are on point. Holy Christmas. It's not, they're not wood. They're 2-inch faux wood. They're not real wood. They're expensive too. It's like, what the hell? People on Facebook and YouTube are like, the resolution's good. It's like, yeah, it's just the phone. It's just the resol. It's just the resol on the phone. So, yeah, that's a bummer that it's low res on Instagram, but whatever. Huntington Beach rallies this weekend. Yeah, I'm not gonna be in Huntington Beach. I'll be in San Diego. A Wales? Is this the new phone, mate? Yes, it's a Samsung S20. Ultra 5G. I should have got 5G because it's Bean Bagwell. I need more water. You can switch the 5G off. I'm not concerned with the 5G. Is someone taking care of Biggie right now? He's in the other room, sleeping on the couch. He's in the other room. Biggie's in the other room, sleeping on the couch. All right, so I'll have some final thoughts here. Anybody have a last topic or a last question or anything that they want to comment on before I go? I'll say like maybe one more thing or jam on one more thing. It's 1:30 here now. I've been going for 2 hours. Big Ray says he respects the Android game. Same. Donnie's on the 18th tee, dude. People are asking me, where's Donnie? He's on the 18th tee. He wants to know if he's going to hit under par. What does a medley exit mean? What does that mean? What do you mean a medley exit? What does that mean? Someone says 3:30 p.m. Tuesday here. He must be in Australia. He's putting for par. Oh, Christmas. You're welcome, Anna. Thank you. This is the second Turkey Club, yeah. Yeah, people love complaining about Androids because they don't understand how computers work. Anybody that has an iPhone that tries to tell you why their iPhone is better doesn't understand how hardware works. Technology. technology hardware. Jen says dating apps be like, nope, swipe left if you didn't get the juice. That's hilarious. That's such a great way to know that you don't want to talk to a person. Swipe left, you didn't get the juice. It's like, done. It's like, you got it. You got it, Corn Pop. It's hard to, it's got to be hard. I mean, if you take a lot of time to look into this stuff, it's got to be hard to date a person that sees things from the other side. It's like, I'm not saying that it can't be done, but it's kind of like, I don't know, Bob. I don't know. What? What was that comment? Jen says, I only date people that watch your videos. Nice. That's a wise way to figure out who's lit. Oh. This is the dating app. I agree. The problem with Instagram is that people are all over the world. That's the thing that's challenging. Is that it's like these people are like everybody's all over the place. You don't know where they are. And like you link with people that are real cool, but they don't live anywhere near you, and it's like meow, meow, meow. There should be a Repub dating app. That'd be hilarious. That'd be great. Start putting hashtag Bobby Sauce on your profile or hashtag beanbag so you can find true love. Hell yeah. I agree with that. I think that's a good idea. Well, when the world is no longer trash and I can have an actual meetup of some kind, I'll throw a party in a pineapple under the sea and everyone can be really woke there. I am working on that. It's something that I've been working on for a while, and it's very challenging, especially with all this garbage, this traveling diaper, the garbage world. And if the world wasn't the way that it was, it would have been a lot easier up until this point. But rest assured that this is something that I'm thinking about all the time, and I'm trying to figure out how to sort it. It's something that I'm definitely trying to make happen. Donnie just sliced it on the 18th into Pompeo. Nice. Anna, yes. Yo, so well, hey, I do appreciate you guys. It's 1:42 in the morning here, so I'm going to bounce. Anna, my Bobby merch will find me a guy for sure. If somebody knows about that merch, imagine how woke they are. Justin says, Bobby, do you sleep? No. I mean, I sleep sometimes. I like to take naps. Tickle me Elmo. Yo, big thanks to Chooks for the Venmo donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Big thanks to Joseph Burwell for the donation on BobbySauce.com. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you all the people that bought the badges. I really appreciate it. Luca Miliano, Jen Lisa, Chooks Official, Anna Maria, Wendy Van Mui, SM of 16, Arjon 1602. Thank you guys so much for the support. I very much appreciate it. For everybody that watched my video today, thanks for that. Leave some comments, leave some likes, tag your friends, send it to people. If you don't follow me on YouTube, follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/BobbySauceLito. You guys all know where it's at. You know it's at BobbySauce.com. I did 2 lives today and a video. I got my phone back. I'm back in the saddle. I'm tickling bags. I'm kicking you in the nads. I'm jumping into oncoming traffic. I'm swan diving off a bridge into a pineapple under the sea. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. And much love. I appreciate this little community we've created. It is a whole lot of fun. So I will see you tomorrow thank you so much for the love. Peace, Facebook, and YouTube.